What if I told you that the most disruptive family SUV of 2027 doesn't come from Toyota, Honda, or Ford? It comes from a brand most Americans wrote off years ago. What if I told you that Fiat, yes, Fiat, could be about to drop a budget family hauler that punches so far above its price tag that it's already making established rivals deeply uncomfortable? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why automotive insiders are quietly calling the 2027 Fiat Grizzly one of the most surprising value plays in the modern SUV market, and why sleeping on it could be the biggest car buying mistake you make this decade. Welcome back to Auto Elite World. If you're new here, this is where we break down the vehicles that actually matter, the ones shaping the future of the American road. And today, we are going all in on something that, honestly, I didn't see coming. The 2027 Fiat Grizzly. A name that didn't exist in our vocabulary 18 months ago, and yet here we are talking about it like it could change the entire conversation around affordable family SUVs in this country. Let's get into it. So first, why is anyone talking about this vehicle at all? Because budget SUVs in America have always followed the same tired formula. Give people just enough room, just enough tech, and just enough style to justify a price tag without ever truly exciting anyone. The segment has been coasting on mediocrity for years, and most buyers just accept it. But the Grizzly appears to be a different proposition entirely. Fiat's engineering team reportedly took a hard look at what American families actually need versus what they've been getting sold, and the gap between those two things was apparently massive. The result is a vehicle that is expected to deliver genuine substance across every category that matters, not just one or two talking points wrapped around a sea of compromises. And that, right there, is what has people paying attention. Let's talk about what this thing looks like on the outside, because this is where the conversation starts getting interesting. The Grizzly's design language is a departure from everything Fiat has sold in the American market before. Gone is the round, cute, almost toy-like aesthetic that defined the brand for so long over here. What's anticipated in its place is something considerably more muscular and road-serious. The front fascia is expected to feature a wide, bold grille flanked by angular LED headlight clusters that run horizontally and give the face a wide-set, planted stance. It reportedly looks like a vehicle that has been told to get serious and actually listened. The body sides are expected to carry strong character lines that run from the front wheel arches all the way through to the rear, creating a sense of forward motion even when the thing is standing still. The wheel arches themselves are anticipated to be flared and prominent, housing what are expected to be larger alloy wheel options than anything previously offered at this price point from the brand. The roofline is reportedly designed with a slight fastback angle toward the rear that keeps the profile from looking like a generic box on wheels, while still preserving the interior headroom that family buyers demand. The rear end is expected to close out with full-width LED taillights that give it a clean, modern horizontal signature. This is a vehicle that could look like it costs significantly more than its sticker price. And in the hyper-competitive budget segment, that perception matters enormously. Now let's step inside, because if the exterior is what stops you on the lot, the interior is what sells you the vehicle. And this is where reports around the Grizzly get genuinely exciting. The anticipated interior configuration is designed around what Fiat is reportedly calling a family-first architecture, which in practical terms means a cabin that prioritizes usable space, tactile quality, and comfort over expensive materials that look good in brochures, but don't survive 3 years of real family life. The dashboard layout is expected to be clean and driver-focused, with a layered horizontal design that creates a sense of width and openness. Physical controls for climate and core functions are reportedly retained alongside touchscreen inputs, which is a choice that deserves applause in an era when too many automakers are hiding everything behind swipe menus that require a PhD to navigate while moving. Seating is anticipated to be available in both 5-seat and optional third-row configurations, with the second row expected to offer genuinely generous legroom that can accommodate adults without the kind of bent knee suffering that haunts cheaper 3-row alternatives. Materials throughout the cabin are reportedly a thoughtful blend. Soft touch surfaces where hands and arms naturally rest, more durable and cleanable finishes in the areas where kids and cargo do their worst. The color palette options are expected to lean warmer and more inviting than the sterile gray and black monotony that dominates budget interiors right now. This is reportedly a cabin designed by people who have actually sat in the back seat with children and thought carefully about what that experience actually requires. Moving into the technology side, and this is a section that could define the Grizzly's entire value argument. The expected centerpiece is an infotainment display, anticipated to land in the range of a 12-inch touchscreen, running a revised interface that is reportedly faster and more responsive than Fiat's previous systems. A criticism that has followed the brand for years, and one they appear to have taken seriously. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both expected to be standard across the lineup, because at this point in 2027, anything less would simply be unacceptable, and Fiat reportedly knows it. Beyond the screen, the Grizzly is anticipated to offer a digital driver display that replaces traditional analog gauges with a configurable readout showing navigation, performance data, and driver assistance information in a clean, easily readable format. A built-in navigation system with over-the-air update capability is also reportedly planned, which means the maps and software stay current without requiring a dealer visit. A premium audio upgrade option from a well-regarded sound partner is also expected to be available, delivering cabin sound quality that would have been considered genuinely impressive in vehicles costing twice as much just 5 years ago. The connectivity suite reportedly includes multiple USB-C ports positioned thoughtfully throughout the cabin, front row, second row, and in the available third row configuration, plus wireless charging capability for the front seat occupants. Fiat appears to understand that in a modern family vehicle, running out of battery is a genuine quality of life issue, not a minor inconvenience. Now let's talk about what's under the hood, because powertrain choices at this price point can make or break the ownership experience. The Grizzly is expected to launch with at least 2 engine options tailored to different buyer priorities. The entry-level configuration is anticipated to feature a turbocharged 4-cylinder, producing an estimated output in the range of 170 to 190 horsepower. Numbers that won't set any track records, but are expected to deliver entirely adequate real-world performance for urban and suburban family driving. This option is likely to be paired with a front-wheel drive layout as the base configuration, with all-wheel drive anticipated as an available upgrade. The more compelling story, however, could be the expected hybrid variant, which is reportedly a standard hybrid rather than a plug-in, keeping the technology approachable and the pricing within the budget positioning. This powertrain is anticipated to deliver combined system output closer to 220 horsepower, while significantly improving fuel economy, with estimated figures that could land in the range of 35 to 40 miles per gallon combined. Numbers that would represent a genuine selling point against thirstier rivals in the segment. An available all-wheel drive configuration on the hybrid variant is also reportedly in the plan, which would make the Grizzly a genuinely versatile option for buyers in regions where weather and terrain demand more traction than a front-wheel drive setup can reliably provide. What makes the Grizzly interesting from a driving experience standpoint is what Fiat reportedly prioritized in the chassis and suspension tuning. Too many budget SUVs are set up almost exclusively for ride comfort, resulting in vehicles that feel floaty, disconnected, and unengaging in any situation that isn't a perfectly smooth highway. The Grizzly's development team reportedly spent meaningful time calibrating for what could be described as confident composure, a setup that is expected to absorb road imperfections without feeling like it's wallowing, while also delivering enough steering feel and body control to give the driver a genuine sense of connection to what the vehicle is doing. It's not expected to be a sports SUV. Nobody is claiming that, but it could deliver the kind of driving experience that makes a parent feel like they are in command of the road rather than just being carried along by it. The electric power steering calibration is reportedly tuned toward accuracy over artificial heaviness, which bodes well for parking lot maneuverability, something that genuinely matters when you're trying to navigate a crowded school pickup line. Ride quality on the estimated standard suspension configuration is expected to lean toward the comfortable side without sacrificing all composure, with noise, vibration, and harshness management reportedly given serious attention. Wind noise and road noise isolation at highway speeds is anticipated to be notably better than what direct competitors offer at similar price points. A detail that contributes enormously to the long-haul family road trip experience that many buyers in this segment live for. On the safety front, the 2027 Grizzly is expected to arrive with a comprehensive standard suite of active driver assistance technologies that would have been considered premium features just a few years ago. Automatic emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection is anticipated to be standard across all trim levels. Not an add-on, not a package upgrade, but a baseline expectation on every single Grizzly that leaves a dealership. Adaptive cruise control with lane centering capability is also expected to be standard, providing a semi-automated highway driving experience that reduces fatigue on long journeys. Additional safety technologies anticipated for the lineup include blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, front and rear parking sensors, and a surround view camera system on higher trim levels that makes low-speed maneuvering in tight spaces significantly less stressful. Lane departure warning and lane keep assist are also expected to be included in the standard package, along with driver attention monitoring that uses subtle cues to encourage brakes during extended drives. If these anticipated features land as reported across the full trim lineup, and not just at the top end, the Grizzly could set a new standard for safety value in the budget family SUV segment. And that is a genuinely significant accomplishment. Now, let's talk money, because pricing is ultimately where the Grizzly's entire narrative either holds together or falls apart. Based on everything currently anticipated, the 2027 Fiat Grizzly is expected to enter the market with a starting price in the range of $26,000 to $29,000 for the base front-wheel drive configuration. The hybrid variant is anticipated to command a modest premium, likely landing in the low to mid-30s for well-equipped all-wheel drive trims. If those numbers hold at launch, and that is a critical if, the Grizzly could be positioned as one of the most aggressively priced entries in the mid-size family SUV space, and not just among European brands, but against the full competitive field. The fully loaded top trim is estimated to land somewhere around $40,000, which would place it at or below many rivals' mid-range configurations. Fiat's apparent strategy appears to be offering more content per dollar at every rung of the trim ladder, rather than holding desirable features hostage at the top. A philosophy that resonates strongly with value-conscious American buyers who have grown increasingly frustrated with option packages that charge extra for features that feel like they should simply be included. And speaking of rivals, let's address who the Grizzly is stepping into the ring with, because the competition here is serious. The Toyota RAV4 remains the defining benchmark in the mainstream family SUV space, reliable, practical, and enormously popular with good reason. The Honda CR-V brings a strong efficiency story and a respected reputation. The Hyundai Tucson and Kia Sportage offer compelling technology packages at competitive price points. The Ford Escape and Chevrolet Equinox represent Detroit's stake in the segment. These are proven, established vehicles with loyal customer bases. What the Grizzly could offer against all of them, if the anticipated pricing and content levels hold, is a combination of style, technology, and efficiency that undercuts the most popular rivals on price, while matching or exceeding them on features. The RAV4, for all its strengths, doesn't always lead on interior refinement or technology freshness at its price point. The CR-V's strong points are practicality and efficiency, but its design plays it conservatively. The Korean offerings are genuinely competitive on technology, but are closing in on pricing that puts them outside the true budget conversation. The Grizzly, if it delivers on what's being anticipated, could fill a gap in this market that buyers have been waiting for something to occupy. So what actually makes the Grizzly special beyond the sum of its individual parts? Because plenty of vehicles look good on a specification sheet and then disappoint in execution. The answer, if early indications hold true, may come down to intentionality. This vehicle reportedly represents Fiat's genuine attempt to re-earn relevance in the American market, not by trying to compete with luxury brands, not by chasing trends at the expense of substance, but by asking a simple question: what does an American family actually need from an SUV in 2027? And how do we deliver all of it without asking them to spend beyond their means? That question, pursued seriously and answered with engineering discipline, could produce something more interesting than a vehicle that simply hits specification targets. It could produce a vehicle that people genuinely love driving and living with. And in the family SUV segment, that combination is rarer than it should be. The Grizzly also reportedly represents a calculated bet on the American market at a time when many legacy brands are pulling back, consolidating or pivoting away from value-positioned segments entirely. Fiat appears to be leaning in rather than retreating, and there is something worth respecting about a brand that chooses to compete hard rather than surrender market share quietly. So here's the final verdict on the 2027 Fiat Grizzly. Based on everything anticipated, expected, and reported so far, this could be one of the most interesting launches in the budget family SUV space in years. It combines a genuinely evolved design identity, a thoughtfully considered interior, a strong technology proposition, an efficiency-focused powertrain story, and pricing that, if it holds, could make it impossible to ignore for value-conscious American families. The competition is going to feel pressure. The segment is going to have a new conversation, and Fiat, a brand many people in this market had already mentally moved on from, could be about to remind everyone exactly why they should never count a hungry brand out. Will it be perfect? Probably not. No vehicle at this price point ever is. There will likely be trade-offs, areas where the budget ceiling shows through, moments where the execution falls slightly short of the ambition. But if the Grizzly gets even 2/3 of what's being anticipated right, it could be a vehicle that earns its place on the shopping list of hundreds of thousands of American families. And that would be a remarkable comeback story for a brand that genuinely needed one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the latest automotive innovations, make sure to subscribe to Auto Elite World, turn on notifications, and let us know in the comments what you think about this vehicle. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.